Alright, this is the Iron Docks. This is your second entry level dungeon. It's level 93 through 95. And a really healing intensive dungeon. This is my second shot in here. This group, compared to my first group, was really good. Their DPS is on the mark and makes healing this dungeon a hell of a lot easier than the first group I had. The tank in this group was just his or her first time here, but did a really good job. I speeded up some of the gauntlet portions, but I wanted people to see the trash fights. The tank again does a really good job through them. Lots of trash, lots of wrong runs in between bosses. That's what makes the dungeon actually long, especially if your DPS is kind of low. But the boss fights are actually kind of cool. This dungeon is a linear dungeon, straight through. No no little secret side passages that I'm aware of as of yet. The first boss I'll call the Orc on Dog boss. I know my technical names are just so amazing for this game, it's insane. But it's a simple fight. In all reality, this is a really simple fight, and it shouldn't be difficult even for a low DPS group. It's like any fight in Warcraft, it's being smart. It's don't stand in the fire, don't stand in the arrows. And if you're the tank or melee DPS, when you're standing in fire, you tank the boss away from it. It's really hard on the healers, and this is how groups wipe, is when you're just wanting to rock your DPS meters instead of just actually not standing in the fire or standing in the arrows or whatever mechanic the boss does. It's really paying attention to your environment. I'm not saying I've never stood in the fire. I do it from time to time, and you're going to see it happen in this video. Sometimes I'm paying more attention to Healbot than I am the actual fight. That's my own stupidity. There's no way to phrase it. But overall, I mean, to make a successful group, just pay attention to your environment and don't stand in the fire.
The gates. Nagar, he's dead. We should pick up anchor and set sail for Talador right now.
Calm yourself, Sogash. We will do no such thing. If these weaklings...
On this section of the gauntlet run, there's two little areas here coming up. It's the bowling ball section. You want to launch these cannons down and knock out the enemy down there. It's actually kind of fun, kind of cool. The more of them you hit, the less trash you got to deal with. It definitely makes fighting a lot easier. I'm sure there's an achievement if you don't do it. I didn't look it up. This next phase, the boxes are the key. The horde will be launching basically cannons at you. If you stand in around the corners of the boxes and pull there, you won't take any damage. So just kind of keep out of line of sight on this section, and it should go by fairly easily. My first group I did this with had a difficult time with this concept. Just pull around the corners and don't get hit by the AoE damage, and boom, you get through it really fast.
Be my pleasure. Ha! Ditto.
This is your console fight or council fight here. Console fight, yeah, you're fighting your monitor here. Now your council fight, honestly, I don't know which one goes down first. They have them marked on the screen with the skull. As a healer, I hate to admit, I don't pay attention to that a whole lot. I'm never really a raid leader. I just heal. I follow orders. I don't give them. This is, again, lots of fire in this dungeon. Don't stand in the fire. Avoid the fire waves, and you'll be good to go. Again, every once in a while, I think a boss targets an individual in a group. That's the healer's issue, just to keep that person alive when the boss does it. Just get them down quick. Fairly easy fight. Oh, and fuck you, Time Warner. I'm gonna say this again. Fuck you, Time Warner, and your goddamn lag. This is not the game. This is Time Warner and their shitty ass cable service. And unfortunately, where I live in Kentucky, this is my only option outside of AT&T, and AT&T isn't any better. But Time Warner's cable service here is awful.
You better step back. I'm calling in the bomb squad.
This is far from over. Sir, half of our army's been taken out. Don't you think we should...
That was an insignificant loss. Let them exhaust themselves, pray.
More gauntlet running. This one here, the hard part about it is just staying out of fire. I've said this a dozen times in this video and I'll say it again. Stay out of the fucking fire. It is the simplest thing. And you're going to see at one point me standing in the fire. Some of the ads here are skinnable if you're a skinner, so skin them, get that. Other than that, the next boss fight coming up after this is really easy. And if you're smart about it, goes down really fast. This group had high DPS, but they didn't know the technique of the fight, so it was... Fortunately, their high DPS compensated for what you need to do. It's basically a werewolf boss. At one point during the fight, the werewolf is going to go to a cage and release some of the creatures in it. Kill the creatures, then go back to the boss. I mean, it's really silly. Again, kill the ads, back to the boss. Don't stand in a fire, back to the boss. Kill the ads, go back to the boss. I mean, wow. Doesn't get more difficult than that. So you'll see the ads on me, and I had to CC one of them, but it's a fun fight. And I like this dungeon, it's healing intensive, and I love what they've done with Druid healing. Again, I like having to work with my hots more. Regrowth is a really expensive spell to cast. Here's the puppy dogs attacking me, and you'll see in a minute I'll have to CC. And I actually have to fight it myself since nobody really wants to help the healer here. So, that's this fight in a nutshell. And we're going to go, after this fight's the last boss. You go straight to the last boss from here. There's no trash. Little knockback on this dog. I'm going to blast him with some wrath. Dead. Boss is dead. Like I said, high DPS group. The first time I did this, the group I was with, the DPS wasn't as high. Oh, this is a level 90 boost tune, so I wanted to go back to my old server, Shattered Halls. I wasn't going to pay for a server transfer on my main, so I created another Resto Druid on my old server. My main is on Proudmoore. His name is Schnott. I wanted to actually join my old guild, Vini Vidi Vici, but it looks like they've gotten pretty, I don't know. The main reason I would go back was one of the guild members, which I don't see in the guild any longer, so I just kind of made this tune in vain, but I joined a guild called Lexicon on the server. I'm going to level this tune first. I may bring my main around, level him up eventually, but they're both Resto Druids, so I don't see the point. This boss fight, pretty cut and dry. Again, don't stand in fire. Kill the ads. He's going to do a nice knockback. Behind me are some boxes and crates. After the knockback, you want to hide behind the boxes and crates till this barrage of weaponry is done. And you'll see where I fuck up on this pretty good, because I thought it was done. I wasn't paying attention to my boss mods. Then you go back and kill the boss again. So here we do the knockback. Use your speed boost if you have one to get behind the boxes. Here comes that AoE I was talking about. Then my dumbass thought it was done, because I wasn't paying attention. See, pay attention to your environment, and see people following my lead like morons. Second round of AoE. I had to use Tranquility to get the group back up for the wipe. Fortunately, no wipe. Got my tank back up really quick, and like I said, their DPS was really amazing in this group. So we got him down fast, because the last time I did this, I think we did this knockback like 3 or 4 times. So it took a little longer. There was big mana drinks. I had to do some big healing. And again, regrowth is really expensive heal now, but it's one of my bigger heals. I don't have the talent in it that does the crit, but I like having that hot available to me. So, well, this is the Iron Docs in a nutshell. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.